Hello, and welcome to Pearls of Wisdom by Pearl Operational Design. My name is Hazel Lord, and I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. If you have been part of the process so far, and if you're new to the channel, I'll also like to welcome you and hope that you get value from what it is that we are saying. In previous videos, we talked about, what's operations? Everyone is trying to get what we call this elusive operational excellence. And what is that? So we really, in the first video, kind of broke it down and said, first, if you're in operations, and we concluded that we all are, then you are providing some value to someone, right? So we talked about sales ops, we talked about marketing ops, we talked about DevOps. We talked about as a parent, you're delivering some value to your kids as well. And we looked at the fact that in order for you to achieve excellence, you want to be effective, you want to be efficient. You want both. Effectiveness linked to value. This video that we're doing is inspired by some conversations I've had, mostly with people who either became operations manager and very excited, and then it's like, okay, so now what? And people who want to get into operations but haven't been able to find maybe some resources. I decided, you know what? So let me take a little bit of a step back and say, you knew. There are operations in many titles. Many titles have operations, finance operations analyst, marketing operations analyst. Many analysts have a piece of operations, and you have operations managers as well. So you get into a role, and what does that mean for you? This video and the next ones that I will do will speak a little bit to what we think you should do going into this role. And you'll be surprised at my step one. My step one is actually taken from karate. It's clearing your mind, getting a mindset of I do not know. And what that does is allow you to seek to understand. Very, very big lean term. The first thing you go in to do is, what do I understand that's going on? And that's the question around value. So you're in an operations space. You're doing something. What are you doing? What is that value that you're delivering? With that mindset, my step one would be, who are your stakeholders? And those are not just your customers, or if you are an internal organization or part of an internal operations, then your customers are internal. You still need to speak to them. You need to understand, what is the value that they expect? Then also, what's the value that you're delivering? And is it meeting the expectation? Because then that tells you that in your next steps, what you need to do from an improvement perspective. But the first thing really is the mindset. I don't know. And going and speaking with all of your stakeholders. And that includes your employees. So if you're an operations manager or an operations leader, you do want to understand, what's the value for the employees? Capture all the conversation. What's good and what's not? What is that value? What do they expect? And am I meeting that expectation? That would be, for me, the first thing, because then what you would need to do as you look at your operations and you look at all of those elements that we talked about in assessing how well you're doing on your road to achieving excellence, you first need to understand value and who you're delivering the value to. Stay tuned for other tidbits. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please share the knowledge. Thank you.